So welcome back everyone, Mike here. It is a beautiful day here in western Pennsylvania. I mean, it's about 83 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, a gentle breeze, just perfect. Well, almost perfect. I mean, it could be a little cooler, but I'm not going to complain. I mean, it's a nice day. But anyway, this afternoon I'm going to be working on a food plot. And just to clarify, because there's a little confusion last time I mentioned food plot, a food plot is not a garden for humans. A food plot is like a buffet for the wildlife. We like to build food plots for particularly the white-tailed deer. It's all part of the hunting process, and it's kind of funny because the older that I get, I mean, I've enjoyed deer hunting my entire life. It's one of my favorite things to do, but actually harvesting a deer is just a tiny little part of the whole process. The food plots, the trail cameras, you know, talking with the neighbors, all that kind of stuff, that's all part of the whole deer hunting culture and the process. And the food plots is just another part of it. So here, a lot of us in the States, and I'm sure other parts of the world, maybe, I don't know, we spend a lot of time and a lot of resources just trying to keep the deer happy and keep them around. Probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but it's just what we do and we enjoy doing it. So anyway, this food plot that I'm going to be working on is kind of a joint venture or a community effort, I guess you could say. I have one neighbor, let's call him neighbor number one. The food plot is actually on his property, and it joins our property up by the old apple orchard. It's right beside it. But he's a nice field there. So neighbor one owns the property. Neighbor number two is another friend of mine, and he's providing all the seed, the fertilizer, all that stuff, all the labor. He's doing that stuff. That's neighbor number two. And myself, I'm going to provide the equipment and the tractors and all that stuff to disc it up and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a group effort. It'll benefit all of us, and it's just what we like to do. But anyway, I'm going to go up there in a few minutes. I was up there earlier this week for just about an hour, hour and a half or something, and I used the disc on it. Now he had some strips in there where he had planted last year, just kind of narrow strips, but what we're doing, we're kind of making it a little bit bigger this year, and we're going to disc the whole thing up. I did hit it the other night. You could have almost, you know, plowed it first, but there's only one or two strips where there's a lot of vegetation left, so the discs seem to be working pretty well, and I'll set them a little bit more aggressively, and we ought to be able to knock it out here this afternoon, and then probably tomorrow morning we'll hit it with a cultipacker. And just to kind of, because it's going to be loose and really soft, all the soil will be. So we'll loosen it up, and then we'll hit it with the cultipacker, pack it down just a little bit. Fertilize it, seed it, and then I'll hit it with the cultipacker again. The only reason I'm going to use the cultipacker twice is I think it's going to be so soft and fluffy, we don't want to bury the seed too far into the ground. So it should work out pretty good. But let me show you what I'm going to be using here this evening, and we'll get started. So this is what we're going to be using today. It's the RK by King Kutter 7.5 foot box frame disc. There's 24 blades, 20 inches in diameter, and we'll be using it on the RK55. I really like this disc so far. The other night was the first I used it at all. It's got a lot of weight to it. It weighs a little over 1,000 pounds, and it works very well. It'll even work better today. Things dried up a little bit more, and we already have it busted up a little bit, and I'll show you how this thing works here in just a bit. I have this set pretty aggressively right now, and that's how I'm going to use it this evening. And all you need to do to change that is take these bolts out here and here, and you can adjust the angle on the disc. The steeper the angle, the more aggressive it is, and also the more horsepower you need to pull it, because there's a lot more resistance and you're busting up a lot more ground with it this way than if they're all just running straight. So anyway, we'll head over there and get started. So this is what it looks like now after we hit it the other night. Now on this right side, see how fine that is right there? Ron, my neighbor, he hit that with one pass with his tiller. It's beautiful. So all I'm going to do here right now is those areas where there's still some grass growing and the bigger clumps down on the lower side, I'm going to hit that with a disc, a couple passes, and it should be good to go. If you've been a subscriber to this channel for a while, you probably remember a video from last year on how to choose your perfect tractor. In that video I talked about whether you need a cab or you don't, and I never really thought I needed one. I'm like, I don't need no cab, you know. Boy, was I wrong. This is sweet. It's like 85 degrees out right now. I was getting a little chilly in there. It's beautiful. And listen to the stereo, really nice for jobs like this on a day like this. But anyway, we had a slight change of our game plan, just a little bit. We were going to disc this up, hit it with the cultipacker, seed it, and then cultipack it again. But after Ron did that little test section with his tiller last night, just on the outside edge, it came out fantastic. So I'm just going to bust up a few more big clumps with this disc, hit it with a few more passes with it. Later this evening, Ron will till the whole thing. It won't take long now that it's all broke up and turned over like this. And then tomorrow we'll seed it, cultipack it. And at that time I'll go over what seed we're using and all that, and I will also give you like updates maybe once every couple weeks how things are growing. We've had so much rain over the last month. Now that we're going to plant this, it probably won't rain again for 2 months, but we'll see. But anyway, like I always say, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like button, that matters. Click subscribe and hit that little bell icon beside it and share them with your friends. Thanks.